everybody. I am in my normal podcasting space with my podcast microphone with Monty, who usually makes appearances in my podcast. But I'm not podcasting today. Today is a Q&A all about Dwarfism. And Champ is going to make noise in the background, and so is Monty. And that's just how it's going to be today. So I asked you guys on Instagram what questions you have about Dwarfism, since I have Dwarfism and it's Dwarfism Awareness Month. And you guys delivered. So I have 5 questions that I'm going to answer today. We're just going to dive right into it. What is the most frustrating thing that non-disabled people call little people or people with dwarfism? And that has to be a word that is considered a slur. Yes, a slur. And that is the word midget. I'm using it today for educational purposes. But the M word, as my family and I have always called it, is a very offensive word to people with dwarfism because it has a very dark ableist history, as most words do. And so it's just best to never refer to a person with that word. I know that a lot of times it's used as a joke or used in more of a lighthearted way and not like in an offensive way. And it doesn't matter. It's still an offensive term that should not be used. Point blank. Period. That's it. Next question. The next question I have is a very interesting question, actually, because I had to do a little bit of research on it. I'm going to read directly from my notes here. Do little people and people with idiopathic short stature share similarities? I had to do research on this because I didn't know what idiopathic, I don't know how to say that. I didn't know what idiopathic short stature was. So that was a very interesting topic for me to research. And this is what I found as soon as I get Monty out of my way. Oh, I forgot to do a visual description of myself today. So I am, as always, a white woman. I have my hair tied back today into a low bun, and I am wearing blue butterfly dangly earrings with black glasses and a blue and white patterned top. Kaz calls this my grandma wallpaper top because, again, I guess it reminds him of wallpaper that would be in like your grandma's house. Anyways, I'm sitting on a gray couch with green and gold pillows behind me, and you can see a bookshelf in the background, and you can see my kitten crawling all over me per usual. So I had to do some research about idiopathic short stature. Forgive me if I'm saying that incorrectly, mainly because I had no idea what it was. So this is what I found on the internet about what it is. It says idiopathic short stature describes otherwise normal children who are at or below the 5th percentile for height with normal growth hormone responses to provocative stimuli. So then I did a little bit more research because I was like, is that just dwarfism? No. Dwarfism and idiopathic short stature are similar, but they are not the same thing. Idiopathic short stature has no identifiable medical cause, and it is diagnosed when the child is more than 2 standard deviations below average height. So it shows no other symptoms. They show no other symptoms except for them being smaller than they should be, which is very interesting. Then I did some research and I was like, well, is this a type of skeletal dysplasia? No, it is not a type of skeletal dysplasia because it is just the height that's affected, and no, like the bones aren't affected. It's literally just the height. This person is asking if there are any specific similarities in identity, and I have to be so honest with you and say that I have no idea because I don't know anybody with this condition, idiopathic short stature. I've never met anybody to my knowledge that has this condition, and so I truly have no idea if there are similarities in identity. I don't know how people with this condition choose to identify. I did not know that this condition existed. I don't know why. I just never really thought about it. So I don't know. That is the answer to that question. This person has dwarfism. They have achondroplasia. They said this in their comment. And they asked me, how did I overcome the fear of asking for accommodations? This one's a big one because I don't think I have overcome that fear, truthfully. I think that I have just really gotten used to not being accommodated and receiving the accommodations that I need to thrive in any environment. I've just been told no a lot, so now I just expect no, and I'm pleasantly surprised when people follow my accommodations. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody really gets over that fear or like overcomes that fear. I think you just get really used to the rejection. And as far as advocating for yourself, you know your body best. right? And you know what you need. So I think kind education is the best route, although that doesn't always work. And also having people in your corner that do believe you and are good at advocating for you is another good one. So having people in your corner that trust you and that you trust and that will help advocate for you. For me, that person was my mom. So anytime I was struggling with getting accommodations met at school or wherever, she would help advocate for me. And sometimes that looked like getting a disability lawyer to write a very scary letter to the school district saying, hey, if you don't accommodate Cassidy, she's going to take legal action. Sometimes that looked like her having to get off of work early and come into the school and school some people on my accommodations and get what I needed. It doesn't have to be a parent if they don't feel comfortable advocating for you. It could be an older sibling. It could be a mentor of yours, whoever it is. You just need to have somebody in your corner that is trustworthy, that believes you, and that is willing to fight for you. I think that is ultimately how I get my accommodations, and watching how my mom has fought for me has equipped me with the knowledge about how to fight for myself and get the accommodations that I need for me as an adult. And so now when I'm having accommodation conversations, I don't make it like, oh, well, maybe I could. No, I just tell them exactly what I need and exactly what I need to thrive in that situation, whatever that may be, and in that environment, because otherwise you're leaving it up for interpretation, and then that person is just gonna do whatever they think needs to be done. And sometimes they think they're helping and they're really not, because they don't know what they're doing. So you really have to know your body and know what you need, and expect rejection and expect there to be a fight, unfortunately. And when there's not, be pleasantly surprised. But you never really overcome that fear. You just do it a lot. You're kind of always scared, but that fear is always in the back of your mind. It just gets quieter the more you do it. This question is asking, how could infrastructure be improved for people with dwarfism? Great question. I've thought about this a lot. Now, when I was thinking about this, ideally, I would love everything to be at my height, right? But that's just not the reality of the situation, because I know a lot of people aren't at my height, and I know a lot of people are average height. And so if everything's at my height, you're discriminating against people of average height. These are just simple things. So like height adjustable things. For example, card readers. I have a lot of issues with card readers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know how when you go to like a craft store or any store, I just love crafting. When you go to any store and you're ready to check out and you go to tap your card or swipe your card, whatever, then you have to read the little pin pad thing. Okay, those are called card readers, and 9 times out of 10 they are above my head and they don't tilt downwards, so I can't see what is being said. Sometimes you have to sign. I can't see anything up there. Sometimes you have to tip. I can't see, so somebody has to do it for me every single time, usually. And that's really frustrating, because that does not make me feel independent, that, I have to ask for help. An easy fix, make them so that they tilt down. Easy, not hard. Also, things like peepholes on doors, you know how like in hotels, or even in like my apartment, for the door that goes out into the hallway, you know how they have like peepholes? They're at least a foot above my head 99% of the time. Just drill another hole that's like 2 or 3 feet lower. That's it. Making sure there are lower sinks in the bathroom and lower soap dispensers. I hate it when the sink is like at my chin level, or the soap dispenser, like I can't even reach it. Like if I'm in my chair, I usually have to stand up from my chair to wash my hands in any public bathroom or in any restaurant bathroom. Make sure that there are wheelchair accessible seating areas if you are in a restaurant. So making sure that tables are lower, because all tables at all restaurants are ridiculously high for me 99% of the time. Again, if I go somewhere and the tables are lower, I'm pleasantly surprised, and like I make a big deal out of it, because I can eat like everybody else and I don't have to like strain so that I can actually eat over my plate or bowl. These accommodations are not difficult. People just don't think about them, and when they're building infrastructure, they really don't think about them. Easy things like, if you're gonna have a parade, don't block curb cuts on sidewalks, because disabled people need those. because I have multiple disabilities, I can't just stick to like just things that would make it easier for people with dwarfism, because that's not the reality of my situation. Like, I don't just have dwarfism. I'm also an ambulatory chair user. I'm also a prosthesis user. I'm also a service dog user. So there's a lot of other mobility aids that I have that are also equally as important. But just keep disabled people in mind when you are creating a space. In bathrooms, don't put the step trash cans. Don't do that. That's not nice. I was talking to somebody about this morning, but when you are like in a disabled bathroom and there's a step trash can, how do you expect people in wheelchairs to do that? No, it's easy things. It's fixable things, right? I'm not telling you that you need to put a whole height adjustable counter in my apartment, all right? I understand that I'm gonna have to use step stools pretty much everywhere. I'm okay with that. But just small things that would make pretty much everybody else's lives also a lot easier would make disabled people's lives a lot easier. So just keep things in mind. Last question. Do I find it harder to go shopping alone or with somebody else? So something about me is that I hate shopping. I really do. I love shopping for other people. I love shopping for craft supplies. I hate shopping for clothes by myself. I also don't love grocery shopping because every single thing that I need is above my head. So I have to go hunt somebody down if I'm by myself. I have to go hunt down another customer, or I have to go hunt down an employee and ask them to get whatever I need down. And it's really not that big of a deal because you get used to it, but it just takes longer and it's annoying. As far as clothes shopping, I hate going clothes shopping. I will actively avoid it. If it needs to be done, I will put it off until the very, very last minute, because going clothes shopping is really difficult for me because I have long arms, long legs, short torso, and my back, there's a hump on my back, so nothing really fits in the arms, and I'm shorter stature, so everything is like too big all the time. I'm also really petite, and so everything slides off of me all the time. And even if I go like the kids route, then I'm still a woman, and so things don't fit in certain places, if you catch my drift. And so it's really annoying. Like, my hips are too wide for a lot of kids' pants, but I'm too small for women's pants, and it's a really interesting time. If I'm gonna have to go clothes shopping, I need somebody to come with me, not only for accessibility but also for comfort. I like my boyfriend to go with me because he's nice about things and he also knows what looks good on me. I hated for a long time going shopping with my sister because I would choose something that I thought would look really cute on me, and then it wouldn't fit inevitably, and then she would try it on and then it would fit and she'd leave the store with it, and it made me get really upset many times. So I guess if I have to choose to go shopping, then I do want somebody to go with me because it's a lot easier accessibility wise, comfort wise. But I try to actively avoid going clothes shopping specifically because it's just a nightmare, usually. Every single time. That is my video for the day. Thank you so much for putting those questions in on my Instagram. I really appreciate it. And this is the vlog for this week. We are a few days out from the election. We're less than a month out at this point. Please make sure to register to vote. Please. And if you're registered, great. Remember to vote. Make a voting plan, figure out how you're voting, when you're voting, where you're voting, all the things. I have resources. If you need them, please DM me or go follow my grassroots movement, Disabled Voters for Harris, on all platforms. Email us at engage@disabledvotersforharris.com. Please vote. Make sure to follow me on all other platforms because I do post on Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts every single day. I have a YouTube vlog that comes out every Wednesday and a podcast episode that comes out every Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!